Ravioli.
So I was scrolling through Reddit the other day and I saw some ridiculous looking hack and slash FPS gameplay of a game called Bright Memory Infinite. I decided to check it out on Steam and things got a little bit strange. So Bright Memory is a game created by one single dude in his spare time, and it's not a full game, it's a demo of what a full game could be. And when I say demo, I mean it's labeled as episode 1 of Bright Memory, which means, well, I don't really know what that means exactly. This game's got a little bit of a strange marketing plan. It's pretty unclear as to what you're actually getting when you buy Bright Memory. It's in no way a full game, it only takes about 40 minutes to complete. You can buy it, try it out, and they promise that if you buy Bright Memory, you get the full game Bright Memory Infinite for free when it releases. I guess it's just a decent way for the developer to make some money to get closer to a full release. Bright Memory is like if you took Tomb Raider, turned it into an action RPG like Bayonetta, and then decided you also wanted it to be an FPS, and then set it in the future. You play as a girl named Shelia, complete with optional schoolgirl outfit, and other than that, I actually don't really understand what's happening. First you kill some guys, then Carter shows up, then he knees you in the crotch and you get teleported, and then you show up on the floating island at the North Pole, and then there's chimeras and flying serpents and zombies that can come back to life just like the doctor said, and now I'm stuck and I can't move.
But how do I get out of here?
I also got stuck pretty early on because I was too busy shooting this turtle and I missed instructions on what to do, but it gave me some experience points and now I'm a murderer. Anyways, I was pleasantly surprised with the combat and the difficulty of Bright Memory. I had a hell of a time surviving at certain points, partly due to the controls. Not that they're bad, they feel really good actually, there's just so much going on. I started off playing with mouse and keyboard, but I quickly switched to my Xbox controller since there were so many skills available for me to use, and I am no good at keyboard controls. The combat is super fast paced, and if you're not constantly dodging and attacking, you'll die pretty quick. I also noticed there is an auto aim assist, and the scope on your weapon is set to lock when you press the button instead of zoom in as you hold it down like every other FPS I've ever played, but all of this is adjustable in the options menu, which is a very welcome addition. So after tweaking my controls and getting a bit of a wider field of view, it was time to master the combat. I do gotta mention though, when navigating the menus of the controller, you have to move this slow ass cursor around to select things. It's just awful. Please, for the love of God, fix that in the full game. Anyways, you can shoot your gun, you get an assault rifle, another gun that goes, and a pistol. You can use a light sword that has some special abilities by pressing the D-pad buttons, and you can grapple enemies.
But I'm not done yet!
You can also use this EMP skill that makes your enemies float up into the air for some easy targets, along with a big force field that does AoE damage, and this lightning bolt skill. There are some other skills, but I didn't end up checking them out. Oh, and also you can jump and dodge. The dodge is very important. There's a lot to get a grip on at first. You can kind of tell this is a game designed for PC because the controls feel a little bit like they were crammed into a controller. Some of the skills you have to activate by pressing a button 3 times really quickly, since the single input activates something else. But they do work pretty flawlessly. I didn't have any troubles with them other than remembering what button activates what skill. In fact, I often forgot that I had some skills because there was just so many different ways for me to do damage. Once I figured out how to balance all these combat options, the game was really fun. Like, really fun. I am poo-poo garbage at FPSs, so I had to turn on the aim assist, being the big baby noob boy that I am. But I had a blast with it, and I am really excited for a polished, full release. There were a lot of things wrong with the game, but I can't really even justify complaining since this is very clearly a demo version of Bright Memory, and really none of them were that bad in the first place. But here I go anyways. So during combat there are these tiny little cutscenes sprinkled in to kind of move the action forward. They're a little unnecessary and they often end in this blinding white flash that transitions you back into the gameplay. It was pretty visually obnoxious, so I really hope that they take that out. There was also this one section where a battle took place that had a gaping death hole right behind me, and I kept falling into it and dying. This wouldn't be a huge deal for your average FPS, but there was so much going on the screen, it was hard to keep track of the enemies and my environment with how chaotic everything is. Luckily, this was the only section of the game I found this issue in. Other than that, there weren't too many other problems, aside from some not so great invisible walls and having to restart the game at one point because I was literally stuck. I mean, there were a couple animations and things that were a little bit rough, but again, this is the demo of an incomplete game, so I can't really rip on it too much. Also, I got to a point where I was like, wow, this is like Dark Souls if it was an FPS, a classic gamer observation. And then... Alright, I am very much sold on this game at this point. This really is Tom Clancy's Dark Souls. There are 2 big boss battles, and they were the 2 most fun parts of the game. I think the combat really showed what it was capable of during these fights. And this first boss was very, very clearly inspired by Dark Souls, and that is totally okay with me. At this point, it felt like hack and slash Dark Souls with guns. So with all that said, Bright Memory Infinite is looking extremely promising. With a bit of polish, I honestly think it'll turn out to be a big hit. Not to mention this was made by one single guy in his spare time. That's pretty impressive. I can't even imagine what he could do with a proper budget and some extra hands on deck. Also, I got a score of better on my first run, so you beat that, you hosers. If you made it this far in the video, you are my hero. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to my channel and share this video to help my channel grow. And I want to know what you guys think of Bright Memory. Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you next time.